Hello everybody, this is Brian Bray from Missouri River Regional Library here in Jefferson City, Missouri, and today's topic is the top 20 internet terms for beginners. The first term everybody should know is browser. A browser is a free software package that everyone uses to access the web. Browsers display web pages, graphics, and online content. The most famous browser would be Google Chrome. You also have Mozilla, Firefox, Internet Explorer or Razor, Safari if you have an Apple device. Those are your top internet browsers. Even though I use a few more, I use Ice Dragon and Opera from time to time. The next one you should know is the web page. A web page is what you see on your web browser. See how this is going? Several web pages together on a related subject would be called a website. URL, and that stands for Uniform Resource Locators. They are the addresses of internet pages and files in a web browser. So like in the top of your page, as you can see in these pictures, it usually starts out http://www and then wherever you want to go. For library, it'd be www.mrrl.org. And org stands for organizations. Military has their own special one. .com would be for people who are selling things. EDU would be for education, and there are a few more. Some other terms you need to know: it's HTTP or HTTPS. HTTP is the acronym for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, the data communication standard of web pages. Like we just talked about a second ago, it'd be http://www. Now, if you come across an HTTPS, the S stands for security, so you're on a secure site. It does cost money to be on a more secure site, so like the library, it's probably HTTP, because we're not trying to store anything that needs to be secure. But if you go to a business and they do not have an HTTPS, do not buy from them. Another important term is HTML, and that stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the programming language of most web pages. And as you can see from this picture on the screen, this is how people write in programming language so you can see things more easily on your web page. Most of us do not need to know anything about this or how to write them, but it is good to know what it stands for when people talk about it. An IP address. Every device that connects to the internet uses an Internet Protocol address for identification. In most cases, the computer automatically does this for you. Here's what some IP addresses may look like. Usually at the library, would be your 202.168.10.50. Really simple. Or you can see the one at the bottom, which is more difficult, and you'd probably see those IP addresses like in a government facility or something that's more high-tech. Now, the library on their computers, instead of having it done automatically for the computers in the computer center, we have a set IP address for each computer. But if you go into McDonald's or Panera Bread or somewhere where you're trying to get wireless access, it's going to give you a random IP address. The really neat thing, or not neat thing, about an IP address is people, the library, or anybody else can track an IP address to what device it's coming from. So be careful what you do out there. An ISP. ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. Those are the people who get you to the internet. The library uses MoreNet. We pay them to run our internet and to make sure it doesn't crash. Most people in the commercial world will use CenturyLink, AT&T, Mediacom. That's what most people use in Jefferson City. And if you study this picture here, it shows you how an ISP, Internet Service Provider, works. It looks more complicated in this picture than it really is, but all you need to know about an ISP is that's the person who gives you your internet. A router. Most people have routers these days. It wasn't too long ago that very few people had them. The router is like a traffic cop for network signals you receive from your internet provider. And the picture you see here is a very common standard one. A lot of people are going wireless now, so they definitely need a router because it can send a signal all throughout your house. If you sit outside the library at night, you might be able to pick up on the library's router, and we have 4 or 5, I think, maybe more, to make sure we get good coverage throughout the library. Email. Most people have heard of email. Email is just simply electronic mail. Snail mail would be what you get from the post office. The most common providers are Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook. Even though there are many more providers, it's just another way of people communicating with each other. That leads us into spam email. Spam email is a name given to unwanted email. One type of spam is high volume advertising, and the other type is from a hacker who's trying to steal your passwords. I like to advise people that have to have more than one email for different things. I have an email, so when I sign up or business requires that I have to have an email, I use a special email, so when they start sending me lots of advertisements, it won't go to my regular email, it'll just go to my special spam email. Social media. We all know what social media is, but this is a term given to many websites which allows the user to interact with thousands of other people. Facebook is the #1 social media site right now. Twitter is very popular, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, WordPress. It can go on and on. There are thousands and thousands of different social media websites, but Facebook is #1, Twitter is #2. E-commerce, you may have heard of that as well. This is the action of buying and selling online. Internet shopping has become a billion-dollar industry. And if you've ever bought anything off the internet or the web, it would be considered e-commerce. Amazon would be your #1 site right now, where most people buy pretty much everything. Encryption and authentication. Encryption is a mathematical scrambling of data, so the data is hidden from eavesdroppers. That's very important, not only in your own home, but if you're out and about in a restaurant or at a cafe and you're using your laptop or phone. Authentication is a complex way that computer systems verify that you are who you say you are. Now I have on my Google email, not only do I have to put my email address and put in a password, it will also send me a special code to my phone that I have to type in. The safer you can be, the better. Downloading. Downloading is really a broad term, and it describes the transferring of something you find on the internet to your computer or another device. Usually people download ringtones, songs, music, and videos. Now uploading, the opposite of downloading, is usually when you're sending something from one computer to another computer. Cloud computing. This confuses a lot of people, but it really isn't that difficult. Cloud computing began as a term to describe software that was online and borrowed. Now, I showed the email. Web email is an example of cloud computing. Wherever you go, you can hop on any computer and log into your email. Now, there's an animal out there called intranet, not internet, intranet, and that's within a specific organization, and sometimes they have email that you can only read at work. You cannot read it anywhere else. But cloud computing, anything that you have out there that when you log into a different computer and you can easily access it, is cloud computing. So Facebook would be cloud computing. Most things on your phone would be cloud computing. Your social media that we mentioned earlier, pretty much all that is in the cloud. And last time I looked, there are 6 major places in the world that kept all the servers, which is just a fancy name for a bunch of computers, and they keep all your cloud computing. A firewall. You've probably heard of this as well. Firewall is software and hardware that protects the computer from hackers and viruses. And you can see in this picture, just pretend it's like a wall, and as viruses try to get in, it gets blocked by this firewall, but it lets through certain things like your email. Now, if there's malware or spyware or something that you don't want, usually your firewall will stop it. That would lead us into the malware. Malware is malicious software designed by hackers. Malware includes viruses, trojans, keyloggers, zombie programs, and other software that seek destruction. And the 4 main things, like I said, seek destruction. I put here, vandalize your computer. Some people just have nothing better to do than try to destroy your computer. A lot of people want to steal your private information. If they can steal your information, they can use it for malicious activity. Some malware can actually take control of your computer and see all your files within the computer. And that's pretty scary. And it's also another way to manipulate you into purchasing something that you don't want or may not even know that you purchased. So you need to keep track of what you've ordered, see your bank statements to make sure you didn't order something you didn't want to order. Now, one of the most popular is called a Trojan. A Trojan is a special kind of hacker program that relies on the user to welcome it in to the computer and activate it. It looks like something you really want, but once you get in it, it does horrible things to your computer. Examples are usually things that come through your email. Make sure you know the email to people who send you things. A lot of people like to send cat pictures through email, but then it may look like it's from somebody you know, but it really isn't. You click on it, you just released a dangerous virus into your computer. Phishing, phishing with a PH. Phishing is, for some people, very difficult to recognize. Phishing is the use of good-looking emails and web pages, and they lure you into typing account numbers and passwords or PINs so the hacker can get into it. And then once the hacker has your account numbers, passwords, and pins, they can steal your information. And what they usually do, email-wise, is they just throw millions. They go to millions of different emails, and they're phishing. They're hoping someone will take the bait and give up their information. Another term you should know is blogs, and it's really just an online writer's column. There are thousands of blogs out there on pretty much any subject that you would like. I write my own blog. I know bloggers. It's a lot of fun. If you're a newspaper reader, just think of somebody who writes columns for a newspaper. That's pretty much what it is. They're just doing it online. Those are 20 terms that everybody needs to know if you're going to be on the computer. My name is Brian Bray. I'm from Missouri River Regional Library in Jefferson City, Missouri. My email address is brayb@mrrl.org. If you have any questions, just email me. I'll be happy to answer. It doesn't necessarily have to be on this topic. I would love to hear from you.